Now, from Eyewitness News, live coverage of the Governor's State of the State address.
And good evening, and thank you for joining us for this special report. I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Heggie, and joining us, Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming, as we prepare to hear Governor Gina Raimondo deliver her State of the State address. You know, we've been talking all night of some of the things that we're expecting to hear. Of course, most recently, just this past weekend, we learned that she is going forward with a proposal to legalize marijuana here in Rhode Island.
Yes, that's going to be an issue the General Assembly has to pass. I don't think that'll be a main emphasis of her speech tonight, but I think it's maybe mentioned to us very briefly in the speech at the most. I think she's going to really try to emphasize job training, the economy, and I think a lot of emphasis tonight on education in the state of Rhode Island after the test scores we had this year.
And we can see on your screen here some of the people from the colleges coming in. The adjutant general is about to come in as well. You know, Joe, she's not up for re-election anymore. She's term limited. So now is she able to address some of the issues she couldn't in her first term?
I think she can. She knows she can't run again. She could bring the issues up. The thing she has to do is get consensus with the General Assembly to get these passed. She has to work with Nick Mattiello and Dominic Ruggiero. If she can work with them, she can get a lot of her proposals passed. The big question is, what is it going to cost? Tonight is the State of the State, not the budget address. So we're not going to know a lot of things tonight as far as what the cost of these are going to be. She may talk about money, but where is she going to get the money from?
And we were talking, you know, before during the break that we're already kind of behind budget-wise because the sports betting didn't get started as soon as she had thought, and that was something she said, or she was using money from for a lot of her budgeting.
She was. They think, though, that's going to generate more money over the next 6 months. However, we're talking about online sports betting. Also, Dominic Ruggiero, the Senate president, is. That's a proposal that would generate more money. So I think on Thursday we need to see what the budget has to generate more money for the proposals the governor's putting through tonight.
We just saw the Senate president right there a moment ago. He was not the Senate president when she came in the first time. Does she have more power now than she did 4 years ago? Nick Mattiello really was the one running the Democratic Party in the state.
Well, I think he still is running the Democratic Party. The governor in the state of Rhode Island proposes the budget, and that is nice. However, the General Assembly can do what they want with it, and they have done many times change the total budget. I think she has a little more power now for the fact that she got a majority of the vote this time in her election. So that's going to help her some. But again, she has to work with the General Assembly to get anything passed in the state of Rhode Island.
Do you think she's more energized now, too, getting that vote in and winning a second time?
I think she's very happy. She got the majority of the vote. I think she feels compelled now to really keep her programs going. I think she believes that the voters of Rhode Island accepted what she was talking about in her first 4 years with the jobs and the economy and moving the state forward.
You know, Joe, we talked about this on Inauguration Day, where the city of Pawtucket thinks they're under fire here. You know, they've lost Memorial Hospital, the Paw Sox. Now there's talk that Hasbro could possibly leave. The governor has said she wanted to keep it in the state, but she's never really said that her goal is to keep it in Pawtucket.
No, I think the governor would like to keep it in Pawtucket, but I think the main goal is to keep it in the state of Rhode Island. And I think she really needs to do that because they have lost so many things like the Paw Sox. Hasbro's a big company in Rhode Island. It's well known. They want to keep that in Rhode Island. So if she loses that, that's going to really hurt her.
But how do you go ahead in a speech kind of making promises for anything like that?
I don't think you would address that in this speech. I don't think you do. You talk about, in general terms, about how she's turned things around from 4 years ago when she came in high unemployment to where we are now. New companies coming to the state of Rhode Island, new job training, electric boat doing well. Those are the types of things I think she'll talk about. So
her budget proposal is actually going to come out on Thursday. Here's the governor's family coming in right now. That is Tommy, her son, and her husband, the first gentleman, Andy Moffett. So Thursday she lays out how she's going to pay for these things, right?
Right. And again, the General Assembly has the final word on this. She may say certain things that she wants to raise money with. They may say no. So they have to work and negotiate back and forth. Again, keep in mind, I assume in our budget is going to be the reduction of the car tax because that's one of the Speaker's big programs. If that's not there, you know the General Assembly is going to put that back in. So why even fight that? But again, the money will be there. The question is they may have to estimate on what the income is going to be over the next year, and that's very tricky.
You talk about the reduction of the car tax, obviously something that taxpayers would love to hear about, reduction of taxes. What other things do you think people are wanting to hear about?
Well, I think they want to hear about the economy going well, more jobs coming in the state. I think they want to see the education system doing better than it's doing right now. As they said, with the low test scores, they want to see changes. She's going to talk tonight about pre-K, universal pre-K, doing it over a number of years, bringing it into the state. But again, the city and towns are going to say that's going to cost us money. Who's going to generate the money for the pre-K?
And we're seeing the general officers coming in. Let's talk about colleges. She tried to get Rick and URI in that program the first time. General Assembly only said yes to CCRI.
I would not be surprised if she comes back and tries to expand that to URI and Rick this year, or at least one of those schools. Again, the General Assembly would have to see what they want to do with it, how much money it's going to cost. And remember, at CCRI, they put very strict guidelines on their program there for their Promise program. So they may do the same thing if they do expand it. It did not cost a lot of money for CCRI, but down the road, if you do it at all the colleges, it costs more and more money.
Of course, we just saw Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea walking in as well. And also, you know, we talked about universal pre-K.
Yep.
That's got to be a huge thing for a lot of families.
Oh,
in the state.
definitely. The pre-K is something that the families, I think, would really love, due to the fact that it's going to help them. People who have put their children in daycare, that's going to help them there, but also it's going to help the whole educational system. These children are going to get another year in schooling earlier. They're going to get a little head start. It's going to help them go through the school system and hopefully get better test scores and get better jobs in the end.
We're going to be arranging the chairs on the deck, so to speak, here. Some of these people sitting in the chamber as we see the governor's about to come in any moment now. What they're looking for down the line, 2 and 4 years down the road?
Oh, I think not so much this year, but more next year. You know, the governor's going to have 3 years left after this year. People will start jockeying for position, trying to see who wants to run for governor. There's a lot of people right now who are saying they would love to be the next governor of Rhode Island, but again, it's still 4 years down the road. But another year or two, people will start jockeying, like no question about that.
And we can see the governor has just walked in, shaking hands as she makes her way to the podium. Is this, being her last term, are there things that she's trying to do to put Rhode Island on the map, to put her legacy as governor on the map and give herself a national stage there?
Well, I think she's trying to do that with the economy, the economic development. Also, I think now she's going to be focusing more on education, really trying to get the education system back on its feet in the state of Rhode Island, like Massachusetts is. If she starts to turn that around, that'll give us some national exposure.
See the state police coming in with the governor. That's going to be a major issue for her. Anna Sumko, the superintendent, is retiring. She's nominating James Manny as the new, but he has to get passed by the Senate, which most people think will happen.
I would think that's going to happen fairly easily. I have not heard of any problems happening there. So, I mean, I haven't heard of any other cabinet changes in our administration at this point either.
Is that common for a new leader of the state police to step in so soon?
You mean as far as someone just being 2 years and leaving?
Right.
Well, we've had Walter Stone, as Mike knows, many years in the state
forever.
So we've seen them not last as long now. They stay for a number of years and they move on. So it's not, I think people are a little surprised it was so quick. I think people thought she might stay for another couple years. But she decided it was time for her to go.
All right, we're about set to hear from the governor and her speech. As we mentioned, her budget speech will be on Thursday. To the left of that is House Speaker Nick Mattiello, and to the right is the Senate President Dominic Ruggiero. Let's listen in.
For the purposes of addressing the joint session, Her Excellency, the Governor of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, Gina M. Raimondo.
Thank you and Happy New Year. Good evening. Good evening, Speaker Mattiello, Senate President Ruggiero, members of the House and Senate, members of the Judiciary, my cabinet, other dignitaries, my fantastic husband and son Tommy, and my family at home, and most especially my fellow Rhode Islanders. It is an honor for me to address you this evening, and I am humbled by the opportunity to continue serving as your governor. And my family and I are deeply grateful for your trust. We've been working together for 4 years. And when we started working together 4 years ago, Rhode Island was stuck, and everybody knew it. Our economy was stuck in the mud. Our unemployment rate was the highest in the country. Schools in every district were falling apart, and our roads and bridges You know what they were ranked? Dead last. Now, one of the best things about Rhode Island is that we're a small state, and we're a connected state. We know each other, and we care about each other. But what that meant is we all knew somebody struggling, and we all knew somebody who'd been out of work for a long time. The struggle was everywhere you looked. And so after I was elected governor in 2014, I vowed that I was going to be the governor to get Rhode Island back to work. You know, Rhode Island's always been a place where we're proud. We're proud of our state, we are proud of our work, and we are proud to call our state home. So 4 years ago, we got to work. We got to work together. We shook up the old way of doing things, and we brought the change needed to get our state, to get our economy back on our feet, to create jobs, to create good jobs, to create a bright future for our kids, for all of our kids. And as a direct result of our new approach, we went from having the highest unemployment rate in the country to now having more jobs than at any time in our state's history. We went from having the worst roads in America and the worst roads and bridges in America to now there's more road work going on in this state than at any time in our lifetime. And I want to say thank you to all the Rhode Islanders out there for your patience, because we have a lot of road crews all over the state. So hang in there with us, and thank you for your patience. We have more Rhode Islanders on track to graduate from CCRI than ever before. We have thousands of people getting good jobs because we worked with employers to build new job training programs. The Real Jobs Rhode Island program that has become a national model for how to do effective job training. Together, working together with the General Assembly, we have cut taxes, cut red tape, and cut regulation for small businesses every year for the past 4 years. And every year for the past 4 years, we've given middle-class Rhode Islanders a tax cut, every single year. And I want to thank you for your support. When we started working together, we had stopped school construction. There was actually a freeze on school construction. Now we got back into the business. We are fixing and rebuilding schools all over this state. And thank you, Rhode Island. Thank you for voting yes on question 1 last year so that we can make a once-in-a-generation investment to bring all of our schools across this state into the 21st century. TF Green is thriving. We are the only state in America with an offshore wind farm, and we're #1 in the nation for early education. So, my friends, we have stopped the decline. We have stopped the decline, and working together, we have ignited a comeback of this great state and our economy. And that's because of you. That is because of every member in this chamber who rolled up your sleeves and helped, and every Rhode Islander sitting at home who decided they were going to root for Rhode Island and be part of our comeback. So, you ought to feel proud of our work. You should feel proud of what we've accomplished together, working together. But we have so much more work to do. Because our work's not done. In fact, our work won't be done until every single Rhode Islander has a shot at getting a good job. Until every single one of our kids has a chance to go to an excellent public school. And until nobody who works full-time lives in poverty. Let's make the decisions together that will sustain our economic progress and build an economy that's strong, an economy that is strong and resilient and inclusive. Inclusive so that everyone feels like they have a real chance to get a good job and get ahead. Let's show, here in Rhode Island, that we can be both business-friendly and fair to employees. Let's prepare people for jobs of the future. I don't have to tell you, the world and the economy is changing rapidly, faster than any of us have ever seen it. But tonight I say to you, Rhode Island, the state of our state is strong. It is much stronger than it was 4 years ago, and our future depends on the decisions that we make today together. This week, I will send to this Assembly a budget that expands our investments in our successful job creation and job training programs, that protects our most vulnerable, that preserves our investments to make sure that we finally and forever end the opioid and overdose crisis, and that gives every Rhode Islander a big cut in their car tax. That invests in our beautiful, cherished, treasured public parks, public beaches, and public spaces. And that sets Rhode Island on a path for long-term prosperity. Now, when we talk about our future, nothing's more important than our children. In the past 4 years, working together, we've made record investments in K-12 education, and those investments are starting to pay off. We've increased the number of high-quality career and technical programs in our high schools by nearly 60%. We're the only state in America to teach computer science in every school in every school district. And 40% more students are taking AP classes and advanced classes. But those recent test scores, not acceptable. Those recent test scores are not acceptable, not good enough for our kids. We have lagged behind our neighbors for far too long. So tonight, all of us, let's all of us resolve to do whatever it takes to make sure that our public schools are competitive with our neighbors and are well-funded and flourishing so that every kid has a shot at a bright future. And I mean every kid, regardless of your zip code or regardless of your background. Now, this isn't going to be easy. This will not be easy, and everyone has a role to play at the state level, at the local level, at the school level. We need to set an ambitious plan. Let's chart an ambitious course, and we need to stick to it. Controversy will come, challenges will come, but let's stick to it. We need to get much more serious about addressing our lowest performing schools. We need to implement the highest quality curricula in every school across the state, very similar to how Massachusetts has done it successfully. And we need to support our teachers and empower our teachers so they can do their best work. And I'd like to take a minute to thank our teachers. Thousands of educators and teachers all across this state who work incredibly hard and do great work for our kids. Tonight, I want to especially recognize guests that I have here, Amy Thompson and Marie Quinn, who are third grade teachers from Barrier Elementary School in Pawtucket, and they've joined us with some of their fabulous third grade students. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Change takes time, and it also takes determination. States that have been successful, like Massachusetts, they've stuck with the strategy long enough for it to work. In Massachusetts, they've stuck with the strategy for 25 years. In Rhode Island, we've had a pattern of not sticking with an approach long enough for it to really take hold and generate results. You know, for years we bounced around deciding which test should we use, which assessment. We bounced from one to another. Finally, last year, we settled on an assessment very similar to Massachusetts. In fact, the one Massachusetts has used for years. We got to stick to this if it's going to deliver the change our kids need and deserve. Tonight, I'm announcing an additional $30 million of investment in K-12 education. This funding for local communities is the single biggest increase of any part of this state budget that I will submit to you later this week. Let's make this happen. Let's step up and make the necessary changes to improve our students' performance. Standing with parents, standing with communities, standing with teachers. We're not going to stop until we do what it takes to make sure that every child in our state can go to an excellent public school and have a shot at the future they deserve. Now, if we're really going to do this, to ensure that every kid is set up for success, we've got to start before they get to kindergarten. Every parent knows that. I saw it in my own children. They flourished with high-quality pre-K. We know from study after study that kids who go to high-quality pre-K do better in school, are more likely to graduate from high school, more likely to get a good job, and less likely to commit a crime. You see, I think investments in pre-K are actually going to save us money in the long run, because you'll have more people enjoying the benefits of a good job and a high-quality life. In my first term, working in collaboration with the General Assembly and your support, we tripled the number of pre-K classrooms in Rhode Island. And we brought about all-day kindergarten for every kid in the state in every district. You know what that means? We give a chance to our littlest learners to get off on the right foot, to have the right start, so they're not behind by the time they get to first or second grade. Tonight, I pledge to you to be the governor that brings about universal pre-K to the state of Rhode Island. By the time I leave office, there's going to be a pre-K spot for every 4-year-old in this state whose parents want it. And the budget I submit to you on Thursday sets us on a path to do this, and I say, let's get going and let's make it happen for our kids. During the last recession, the Great Recession, 3 out of every 4 jobs that was lost was for someone who only had a high school degree. 3 out of 4 jobs lost only required a high school degree. Since that time, since the end of the recession, almost all the jobs that have been created require some degree or credential past high school. In fact, 99% of all jobs created since the end of the last recession require some degree or credential past high school. Just think about that for a minute. 99% of all the jobs created, you need something more than a high school degree. That is a wake-up call. That is a loud wake-up call and a call to action for all of us. There is nothing more important to the future of our state, to the stability and resilience of our economy, to the economic security of our friends, family, and neighbor, than making sure that every Rhode Islander can get the credential, education, job training that they need to get a good job. Nothing. And I'll tell you something. When you talk to businesses, small and big, and you ask them what's the single most important thing that matters to you when you want to add jobs or move to a location, their #1 priority is the education and talent of the local workforce. So this is it. This is our new reality. So given this reality, 4 years ago, we decided we had to change the way we do job training, completely turn it on its head. We've started to partner much more closely with businesses. So we're training people for jobs that actually exist. And we have a fantastic record of getting folks jobs who go through the training program. We're also transforming our community college. CCRI, we're transforming it to become a workforce development engine, partnering more closely than ever with local businesses. And all of this work means that we're giving people a chance who are just starting out, just leaving high school, but also people who are in the middle of their career. who need to keep up and get ahead and need to go get some job training. As a result of this new approach, thousands of Rhode Islanders have already gotten good jobs. And other states are looking at us. Other states are looking at Rhode Island as a model for how to do effective job training. Our goal, our collective goal, is to provide job training to any Rhode Islander who wants it and needs it. And so the budget that I submit later this week is going to make it easier for adults to get a degree at CCRI, and it expands the Real Jobs Rhode Island effort. And what that's going to do is guarantee job training and apprenticeships for thousands more Rhode Islanders who need these skills and credentials in order to keep up and get ahead. Now, 2 years ago, and again I want to thank this Assembly for their support, 2 years ago, working together, we took a historic step as a state. We took a historic step and we made community college tuition-free for every high school student. Since then, the percentage of students on track to graduate from CCRI has quadrupled. Enrollment has doubled. And I can't go a week without somebody stopping me and saying that the Promise Scholarship has changed their life or changed the life of their son or their daughter. Tuition-free community college is one of the lowest cost, highest impact investments that the state of Rhode Island has ever made. So, this year, I propose we expand what's working. I propose we expand the promise to Rhode Island College to cover the last 2 years of a 4-year degree at Rhode Island College. You know, too many students start studying at RIC. They start their program at RIC, but they can't finish. They can't finish because it becomes too hard to juggle 2 or 3 jobs and a full course load. The #1 reason students drop out is cost. They just can't afford it, so they drop out. Now, we all know most Rhode Island College graduates, they stay in Rhode Island. They contribute to our economy. They're our teachers, our nurses, the IT technician you really rely on. They keep our economy going. This small but smart investment, a few $1 million in a $10 billion budget, will change lives, strengthen this economy, make our economy more resilient, and help us fulfill the promise that every Rhode Islander will have a chance to get a good job. And if we do this, Rhode Island College will arguably be the most affordable 4-year degree in America. So I say let's lead the way. And before these 4 years are out, let's expand the promise to our flagship university, University of Rhode Island. Now, to build an economy that includes every Rhode Islander, we also have to do more to propel people who are the working poor into the middle class. Every day, all over our state, tens of thousands of people get up in the morning and go to work. They go to work, they work hard, full-time, often juggling 2 or 3 jobs. And yet, they're barely making ends meet. They are struggling. Since I've been governor, with the support of this assembly, we've raised the minimum wage 3 times. Tonight I say let's raise it again this year to $11.10, which will put us on a path to $15 an hour and allow us to keep up with our neighbors in Massachusetts and Connecticut. The fact is, no one who works full-time should be in poverty. Work should have dignity. Work should provide stability. Work should provide purpose. As I said, we have a new approach to economic development. And because of that new approach, we're creating thousands of jobs. And now is not the time to take our foot off the gas. Companies big and small are moving here, growing here, adding jobs here, investing here. So we need to continue to make it easier and cheaper to do business in Rhode Island. When I first started as governor, we didn't have a small business loan fund. Almost every other state did, but we didn't have one. So we started one. This is a fund that provides small loans to small local businesses. Maybe the shop on Main Street where you might buy a dress for your daughter or your granddaughter, or the local bakery that just outgrew its first kitchen. In Rhode Island, small business is big business, and we have to support these small businesses. Over the last 4 years, 75 small businesses have received one of these loans. And together, they've added hundreds of jobs. Hundreds of Rhode Islanders are working in these small businesses, and they've contributed millions of dollars to our local economy. Last year at this time, in this speech, I challenged us to double the number of small business loans. And we did it. So now I say let's double it again. And while we're supporting our local businesses, we also have to remain open to new investments, new companies, and new industries. You know, sometimes cynicism can be our biggest enemy. So we got to stand strong against that cynicism which holds us back. Now, I'm proud that we've done that. Working together, we have tried new approaches and stood against the cynicism. But you know, I'm even prouder of our results. Over the last 40 years, nearly 30 companies have moved to Rhode Island or expanded in Rhode Island because of our economic development incentives. Those 30 companies have created thousands of jobs. Not just any jobs. The average salary of the jobs created by those companies with those incentive programs is $65,000 a year. That's a good job. Because of our work together, because we've done this, thousands of families like Nafisa Hassan's have economic security. 2 years ago, Nafisa was in a low-paying job with not much opportunity for growth or advancement. So she took some initiative. And she enrolled in a Real Jobs IT training program. And then she got an internship with a company called eMoney. eMoney is a finance company that we brought to Rhode Island. Today, Nafisa is an associate engineer at eMoney. And I've been to eMoney and I've talked to her team. They tell me she's a star, and we can't wait to see where you go from here. So good job, and thank you for being with us tonight. A healthy economy also requires a healthy workforce. You can't be a good employee if you're not healthy. You can't do well in school if you're not healthy. Nobody should go bankrupt because of their medical bills. And no parent should be panicked when their kid gets sick because they can't afford to take them to the doctor. In Rhode Island, the Affordable Care Act is working. In fact, it's working better here than in almost any other state. Since I've been governor, our uninsured rate has been cut in half. Almost all Rhode Islanders have health coverage. And the health insurance premiums on our health exchange are some of the lowest in America. It is working. 100,000 Rhode Islanders depend for their health care on the Affordable Care Act. But the constant attacks coming out of Washington put all of this at risk. Rhode Islanders who have a pre-existing condition or who rely on the health exchange or the Affordable Care Act for their health care, they've got a target on their back. And it's on us to protect them and to protect their health care. So this year, let's pass legislation that protects the Affordable Care Act in Rhode Island, and let's take steps to continue to lower premiums for individuals and small businesses. And while we're talking about health care, let's make this the year we codify women's access to reproductive health care here in the state of Rhode Island. Because the bottom line is this. Here's the bottom line. If we don't protect health care, our economic recovery is going to be on life support. We can do it. It's within our power. And I'll work with anybody this year to help make it happen. And again this year, I'm asking that we continue to be a national leader in expanding mental health care for all Rhode Islanders. Last year I met privately with small groups of teachers. I just wanted to hear from them. What's it like in the classroom? What's it like to be a classroom teacher every day in Rhode Island? The number one issue that they all brought up was the mental health of their students. If our kids are going to have a bright future and reach and attain the standards that we have for them, we have to do a better job of meeting their needs. So this year, I propose we launch a new initiative to address mental health in our schools. We're going to make sure that our kids have access to health care for their anxiety or their depression the same way we do and we would for the flu or a broken arm. And the budget I'll introduce this week will also provide funding to train educators on how to better support their kids and their mental health needs. Kids today are struggling with mental health issues much more than we ever did. And as a mother, I can see why. We didn't grow up with the pace of today, the pressures, the technology. And we also didn't grow up worried about gun violence. The sad reality is that our kids are growing up in a country where they worry about guns in their schools. Across this country, 100 people are killed every day with a firearm. Since 2015, since I've been the governor, I've ordered our flags to half-mast 13 times because of a mass shooting. The plague of gun violence is one of the most disturbing and preventable public health crises of our generation. Now, last year, we took action. And to every member of this assembly and to the Speaker and the Senate President, I want to say thank you. You took action. You passed a red flag law, which is going to save lives, and you banned bump stocks. But we didn't finish our work. This year, let's ban guns in schools and let's ban military-style weapons in the state of Rhode Island. Because it's time. Because it's time. Because we can't sit back and deny a generation of Rhode Islanders their right to save communities and save schools. So later this month, I'll submit a comprehensive package of gun safety reforms that we know will save lives. You know what else we know? The people of Rhode Island overwhelmingly support stronger gun laws. So let's stop talking about it, and let's get back to work and pass these bills. In the end, all of this work, all of our efforts to strengthen gun laws, end the overdose crisis, protect health care for Rhode Islanders, expand job training, support businesses, and provide our kids with a world-class education. All of it. It's about one thing. It's about our future. We in this room, and everyone in Rhode Island, we have a chance, we have an opportunity to profoundly shape and strengthen the state that we pass down to our children. The decisions we make, the actions we take, the tone that we use, all have the potential for lasting positive impact. Years from now, we're going to look back at the work that we did. We're going to look back at the state that we passed down to our kids. And when we do that, if, but only if, we've made good on our promise to leave nobody behind, and if, and only if, we've actually delivered economic opportunity for everybody, and if, and only if, Rhode Island really is a place where if you work hard, you can get ahead, then, and only then, can we say we've been successful. I think we're up for it. So I say, let's get to work and make this happen. Thank you, God bless, and God bless Rhode Island.
And you've been watching live coverage of Governor Gina Raimondo's State of the State address. We're joined on the set by Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming. Joe, we're hearing a lot about expanding economic development, free tuition at Rhode Island College. One thing we didn't hear was how she's going to pay for this.
We're going to hear that on Thursday when the budget is released. She talked about $30 million for education, the Promise program, job training programs, internship programs, small business fund, reducing the car tax more. That's a lot of money. Where is that money going to come from? Do they expect a lot more revenues over the next couple of years, or is it going to be new taxes? We'll find that out on Thursday.
And a big applause in the crowd when she mentioned solidifying reproductive rights for women here in Rhode Island.
Yes,
too.
The whole second part of her speech was more towards social issues. Codifying Roe versus Wade is very much supported by a lot of members of the General Assembly. The question is, will the Speaker and the Senate President let that come to a vote this year? I think there's going to be a lot of pushback both ways on that issue this year. It's going to be one of the major issues in the General Assembly. All
right, Joe, thank you. And we're going to have a full recap and analysis on Eyewitness News at 10 and 11.
For now, we take you back to our regularly scheduled programming.